30 to 40 and even a wider group of 50 biblical scholars, non-Muslim Christian scholars, gathering together to find out and estimate, what did Jesus really say? First of all, in the introduction of this book, he says that we have the earliest complete biblical manuscript that we have is dated 325 years after Jesus. It's the Codex Sinaiticus. You find it in the British Museum. It actually has an extra gospel, the gospel according to the Shepherd Hermas. It has serious differences from what you call your modern day Bible, but the oldest complete biblical document is 325. The oldest sizable manuscripts actually date to 200 years after Jesus. Now I admit that the Muslims also, we have manuscripts, okay, and most of the sayings of the Prophet Muhammad were not written until about 200 years after, but there's a big difference. First of all, remember, Christianity was a small cult, constantly being threatened, constantly being attacked by the Roman authorities. Islam, however, in a very short time became a world empire, okay? So we can see how the authenticity of Christian manuscripts must be much more questionable, very questionable. Matthew, Mark, the so-called Matthew, Mark, Luke and John, the four Gospelers, according to the Jesus Seminar, right? They say that Matthew, Mark, Luke and John, here it is. It's written right here. All the Gospels originally circulated anonymously. All the Gospels originally circulated anonymously. Authoritative names were later assigned to them by unknown figures in the early church. In most cases, the names are guesses, or perhaps the result of pious wishes. This is what the Jesus Seminar, but Joseph Smith stated so boldly in his debate that we know the names, even the names, he said, even the names we know. Like, it was really amazing. We actually know the names of the people who wrote the Gospels. Even the names, he said. Yet when we Muslims say that we know not only the names of the people who recited the traditions, but also the name of every single person who transmitted that tradition back to the Prophet Muhammad, you know what he says? Oh, it's just a list of names. Just a list of names. But when it comes to the Bible, we even know the names of the four Gospels. You see, there's double standards going on here. Double standards going on, you know? But in fact, he doesn't. He doesn't know the names of the four Gospelers, and I challenge him right here. Pass it on to him. Bring your proof. Bring your proof of the names. If you even want to know who wrote Matthew, Mark, Luke and John, bring me your proof. We'll go and we'll read a little bit more here. Or before I surprise you with the real surprise, the real icing on the cake. We'll finish off with telling you something about this lovely book here, written by the... Oh, have you noticed, by the way, the five Gospels? The five Gospels? You thought there was four, didn't you? Not according to the Jesus Seminar. Now here they said, right? Mark. The suggestion that the Gospel was written by Mark was first made by Papias, 130 years after Jesus. As reported by Eusebius, who lived 325 years after Jesus. Now I asked Joseph Smith to even bring to us the document where Papias said that this Gospel according to Mark was written by Mark. He hasn't got it. But he says, we Muslims, we have to produce original documents. We have to, he says. Yet he claims he knows their names, but he only knows the names through someone who claimed that he wrote it. He heard Papias. How did a man living 325 years after Jesus said that a man 130 years after Jesus said this Gospel was written by Mark? What's the proof? So the only information, the first real information, he goes on to say, in in this, as in the other matters, Matthew, Mark, Luke and John, the others as well, Papias is unreliable because he is interested in the guarantees of an eyewitnesses rather than in the oral process that produced Mark. And you know what's interesting here is while Joseph Smith is attacking the oral preservation of the sayings of the Prophet Muhammad in the Qur'an, he's attacking the methodology used by the Muslims. The Jesus Seminar is actually saying that Christianity needs some authoritative form of proving oral tradition. Huh? Amazing. You see the double standards of these Christians? You see the double standards? That's very sad. That's very sad that you have to lie. That's very sad that you won't apply the same standards to the Qur'an as you apply to your book. Huh? I really honestly say, okay, whenever I attack the Bible, I attack the Bible on standards that I would expect the Qur'an to be attacked upon. Huh? I won't make ridicule of something in the Bible that's in the Qur'an. How could I? Yet this man is ridiculing the Qur'an, but you'll find the same things in the Bible. We mentioned slavery. Slavery is approved of in the Bible. Yet this man, Joseph Smith, in his pamphlet, asking Muslim Africans to ask serious questions about Islam, he attacks slavery. Yet Paul in the Bible allows slavery. There's no condemnation of slavery in the Bible. So if he's attacking slavery in the Qur'an, why doesn't he attack it in the Bible as well? Huh? Because the man is so desperate to find an argument, he has to lie, and he has to even lie against his own book and make fun of his own book. Now, just to put the icing on the cake, we talk about the Jesus Seminar. Huh? The 5 Gospels. What did Jesus really say? What they did here in this lovely book, okay, is they divided the sayings of Jesus, and here's an example: black, red, grey, and they also have pink. Black means they think that Jesus definitely didn't say it. Grey means this is something that we're almost certain Jesus didn't say. Red means Jesus almost definitely said it. And pink means Jesus probably said something like it. Oh dear. Oh dear. You know what? 70% of the words of Jesus are in black. The Jesus Seminar believe that 70% of the words attributed to Jesus, they believe he never ever said them. But Mr. Smith, I know my Bible is the truth. I know it's been proven, and until today it's still being proven that it's authentic. His teacher in SOAS, was a teacher of Arabic. His teacher in the School of Africa, I gave up looking at the Bible because there's no point anymore. Everything's been said about it. Yeah, there's so many mistakes in it. What's the point? But he claimed, no, because why? He says his teacher was claiming how authentic the Bible was. But Joseph Smith himself says, no, we need to go to the experts. Well, who could be more expert than the Jesus Seminar? 70% of the words of Jesus, they think he didn't really say it. You know the next book that's coming out? What did Jesus really do? I can't wait. Salam alaikum. May God guide you in Islam.